What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is the first holiday-themed beer review for the month of December 2025, and we're kicking off the festivities with yet another beer from Tröegs Independent Brewing, and they're headquartered in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and this is their Mad Dreams, the 2025 release. So they're calling this one a blended holiday ale, which we'll talk about more momentarily. That comes in at 7.9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is just under 2 months old, but also has a freshest by date of February 3rd of 2026. So according to the brewery, we should be more than good to go. So holiday themed beer reviews are back, and as usual, I'm all dressed up and ready to go. So this year, a couple changes to the table and my getup. So first of all, I used to have like a stuffed Grinch doll that I put up here last year, but I wanted to switch it up each year. So this year I ended up getting the Grinch coming out of the package here, which I think is pretty cool. Now, this one is supposed to be like a pop-up, so you click it, he pops up, he goes back down. But for the sake of the review, I'm just keeping him up. Maybe at the end of the review, I'll hit the button, let you guys listen to what the Grinch says, but it's not a big deal. He just says generic Grinch stuff, which you've probably heard thousands of times before if you've watched The Grinch. As far as what I'm wearing this year, I got a new ugly light-up sweater, and it is from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You got Clark Griswold all hung up here with lights everywhere. Now, these lights will blink and whatnot, and he does say one saying, I did get this sweater, but he does say kiss my butt, but he does not say butt. I'm not trying to swear with the holiday themed beer reviews this year, so it actually says it at the bottom too of my sweater. I will try to block it out, but it just says kiss my butt. But I love Christmas Vacation, probably my favorite holiday movie, period. I can't think of a better one, honestly, for myself. And yeah, I thought I would buy this one. Each year I'm going to try to switch it up with a new ugly light up Christmas sweater and maybe a new kind of decor on the table. Maybe in future years I'll have some lights behind me. With the lights going and stuff and how I have the lighting in here, it just won't look that good. So at least you have some lights on my sweater. So anyway, this beer, what do we got here? Well, let's hear from Tröegs themselves. So on the back here it says, born many moons ago, a semi-secret ritual is ready to mix up your celebrations. Mad Dreams, the 50-50 fusion of Mad Elf and Dreamweaver wheat, combines the complementary notes of cherries and honey with subtle clove and bready wheat. It's a holiday blend that's 100% delicious. So I first heard about this blend many years ago, where people would take the Mad Elf, which is 11% basically holiday ale. It's a Belgian strong dark that they brew with honeys and cherries, and they would mix it with their Dreamweaver wheat, which is a German-style Hefeweizen. Now, I remember the blend being more of like a 70-30. I could have swore it used to be 70-30, but they did a 50-50 blend for this release. Really cool that they did this. A lot of people apparently did it to kind of like, Mad Elf when fresh can be quite harsh. It's 11%. It's boozy. Honeys and cherries can be sweet. So kind of blending it with something a little bit lower in ABV. I want to say the Dreamweaver is somewhere around like 5%, like 5.4 or something like that. So it makes a lot of sense from that standpoint. It might even be less than that because at 15.8, it might be like 4.8. Because if this is 50-50 blend and it's 11%, 7.9 half would be 15.8. So yeah, it's probably 4.8%, I would assume. Something like that. So yeah, anyway, I'm really looking forward to this one. This is the first of three different Tröegs reviews I'm going to do. I did buy their, and I always forget, the most wonderful beer of the year variety pack. It had this, their Chocolate Elf, which is a blend between their Grand Cacao Stout and the Mad Elf. And then I'm going to close out the holiday-themed beer reviews on January 1st, obviously New Year's Day 2026, with a side-by-side comparison of the Mad Elf and their Naked Elf, which is basically the Mad Elf with all the extra goodies not in there. So anyway, we're going to crack this one open. Sorry for the long intro, but the first holiday-themed beer review of the year usually is a little bit long as far as me talking. We're pouring into the Mad Elf glass, hashtag kind of proper glassware, maybe not. Ooh, has a decent carbonation to it. So the Mad Elf cherries, and then they use five different kinds of cherries along with honey, which cool by me. So what does this look like? It looks nice. It kind of looks like what you would expect a beer like this to look like. It doesn't have that beautiful like more red color that the Mad Elf has. It has more of like that brownish kind of Belgian-esque look to it, like a brownish, reddish rust color, about 2 fingers of a tan colored head. You could say maybe khaki color, light brown, but more like tan khaki. Some bigger bubbles mixed in with medium size and smaller bubbles. It is fizzing away ever so slightly, probably from the additions of, obviously the honey, the cherries and everything. But it looks really nice in the glass. Like, it definitely looks like a beautiful beer. Good clarity. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, there's some good clarity. Let's see if you can see my hand through there. I don't know. Yeah, you can make the shadow out, but you can't see my hand. We'll bust out the flashlight here and see. Yeah, so that, you know what? It's a little bit darker on camera. For me, it's more looking like this. I would say something like, yeah, kind of like that, just a little bit lighter looking. But yeah, I mean, it plays the role, kind of what you're looking for, I think, out of a mix of these two. Let's get a nose. Oh yeah, I forgot the Santa hat. I always wear the Santa hat. Well, not always, starting last year. Okay. Huge yeast profile here. This is like, I'm smelling a straight on Belgian beer of some sort, or maybe even a German beer, because it's a mixture of both. Tons of bubblegum. Sirens going by. Hopefully everything's okay. Bubblegum, banana, huge bready, like wheat bread. And then there's that phenolic, like clovey, coriander. I am getting a little bit of the cherries. It's more of like a tart cherry than anything else. Like almost like someone dropped some tart cherry juice in here. Some nondescript red fruits. Touch of dark fruit too. Like maybe like a plum or a fig. It smells like a really big Belgian beer to me, honestly. The German Hefeweizen yeast that they're using, what they do say that, right? It says on here, it says, serve in a chalice. I'm serving in the official Mad Elf glass. Hazy bronze. Sure, yeah, hazy bronze, okay. Yeast, spicy Belgian and South German Hefeweizen. So those are the two yeasts because of the blend, right? I'm getting more of the Belgian with a little bit of that banana, like banana bread kind of Hefeweizen yeast. It smells like it's going to have a decent sweetness, but like that cherry is probably going to break it up a little bit, like a little bit of that tart cherry. It smells way different than the Mad Elf, for sure. Definitely different than Dreamweaver wheat. I've had both of them before. Making my mouth water, though. So happy holidays, everybody. Let's see how this first holiday-themed beer review for the season goes. Cheers. Prost. I see why people do this. It does have the soul, to me, of Mad Elf. But it's not as boozy because it's subs 8% instead of 11. And it has like the edges of the palate are like rounded out and smooth. Body on this is nice. This is like higher side of medium. 7.9%, I'm fine with it. It's not as heavy and syrupy as the Mad Elf can be, but it's definitely bigger than Dreamweaver wheat, which makes sense because it's a blend. The mouth feels sensational. It's effervescent. It's high side of moderate carbonation, but still smooth and creamy on the palate. I'll say it in every single Belgian/German review that I do of like specifically a wheat beer, but this has the voodoo that they do with these styles where it's super effervescent yet smooth and creamy. It's so many breweries do it well too, where like I love the body and mouthfeel of this one. The taste is really just a more palatable, drinkable, less boozy Mad Elf. That's what it is, and that's kind of why I think people ended up doing this blend. So right at the forefront, there's a lot of sweetness. There's a lot of sweet malt from the honey as well. A little bit of like a sweet cherry. All at the forefront. It is big malty goodness. So I'm getting like brown bread, a little bit of like a wheat bread, definitely a big bready malt character that dives underneath the palate with me the entire way, kind of sneaks and hits me on the back of the palate again. After that though, there's honey, and it has like a sweeter honey. It's like all the honey didn't ferment out, so there's a little bit like a lingering honey sweetness. A little bit of banana bread because I am getting the esters that are banana more so than bubblegum in the taste. So it's almost like a banana bread, like a dark banana bread with like someone drizzled some honey on top and maybe like a raspberry jam you're eating a piece. I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of what I'm getting. It's actually pretty good. Midway to 2/3 of the way through the palate, the spices hit. To me, black pepper, coriander, and clove. Those are the main players for me as far as the spices are concerned. There's underlying dark and light stone fruit. Get a little bit of apricot. Getting some plummy kind of dates. Maybe even a little bit of like dry dark fruit, like a raisin. And the finish is, this is actually firmly dry with a mild to moderate bitterness. More dry than bitter. This is a sweeter beer, all right? There's not a ton of, I would say actually, let me rein that back. I think it's more like a mild bitterness, but it is firmly dry. This is a pretty sweet beer at the first, say, 2/3 to 3/4 of the palate. A lot of sweet malt, honeys, cherries. Like I said, that cherry kind of essence is both tart and sweet. I'd say it's more sweet than tart. In the nose, it was giving me an indication it'd be more tart than anything. But on the palate, it's a little bit more sweet. But a nice mix of the honey character with the cherries and then the base, the base beers combined. Do I like it more than the Mad Elf? Just to be honest with you, I do not. But I see the point of this beer, and I see why some people might like this more than the Mad Elf, or why they blend this beer. Let's be honest. I don't know how many of you are just, buying a 4-pack of Mad Elf. I think they come in 4-packs, right? Like, I don't know how many of you are buying a 4-pack and then, just tearing up the 4-pack in a single night. To me, that's a one-and-done beer. It's 11%, honey and cherries, big, huge, absolutely huge Belgian strong dark. I'm drinking, that's like a nightcap. That's like I'm sitting by the fireplace. It's going to take me an hour to drink. So when you blend it with their Dreamweaver wheat and basically cut down the ABV by a little over 3%, you can drink a couple cans of this. And while it doesn't have, I think, the flavor profile that I specifically want if you're blending the two, it's still pretty good. And you do get, I think, the essence of Mad Elf, and you do get a little bit of the Dreamweaver wheat. I think this is more Mad Elf than Dreamweaver wheat as far as the taste goes, but it's pretty good. Now, 7.9%, nice warming in my chest, nothing on the palate. That's the one thing that I'll say it does better, is obviously because it's less ABV. You don't get that big boozy kind of like slight ethanol, just like on the palate. Like it's bigger with the warming in the chest too with the Mad Elf compared to this, and it's not as boozy, which I think I prefer. Super easy beer to drink without question. I can see pros and cons for both. To me, I like the Mad Elf a little bit more because if I'm in the mood to drink a holiday beer like that, or like, just a festive beer, I'm going to pick that over this. But this is still pretty fucking good. Didn't think I was going to swear. All right, that's cost number one. Try not to swear in these, and that's number one. Pretty friggin' good, we'll go with, but that's number one. That's strike one. I'm going to give me 3 strikes over the course of the month. If I do it more than 3 times, count me out. I don't know what that means. They can't really count me out. Whatever. I'm still going to do reviews. Anyway, Tröegs' Mad Dreams, the 50-50 blend of the Mad Elf and Dreamweaver wheat, the 2025 release. I'm going to give this a high 4 out of 5. I'll go 4.05. I think I typically give I want to say I give the Mad Elf somewhere in like the 4.25 range. So this is going to be a little bit less in terms of what I'm rating it. But I still think it's a pretty good beer. I do enjoy it, just not as good as the Mad Elf to me. But I can see why somebody would grab this over the Mad Elf for sure. Mad Dreams as it is. Anyway, price point and availability. The 12 packs here in the Buffalo, New York area, I've seen them anywhere from $24 to $27 for that 12 pack. So if you can get them for 24, it's $2 a can. You get them for 27, now you're getting a little bit up there. I think 25 or less I would pay for this 12 pack. You get 12 beers in total, 4 of each. You get this, you get the Chocolate Elf, you get the Naked Elf, and you get the Mad Elf. Again, you get 3 of each beer, 4 different beers. I think that's a pretty good price point, around $2, just over $2 a can. They're all, I think, over 7.9%. Or 7.8% maybe is the Naked Elf, I forget. They're all pretty close to Imperial ABV, so I don't think that's a bad deal. And the availability, it's Tröegs. I don't know, they probably have a brewery finder or a beer finder on their website. And I just know ever since I started drinking craft beer in late 2009, early 2010, we've always gotten Tröegs here. And in fact, I think I mentioned this in prior reviews, but the Mad Elf was literally one of the first holiday beers I ever tried. And this is one of the first branded glasses I ever picked up back in the early 2010s. So I still have it to this day, and I still like Tröegs, and I like the Mad Elf and all the different ones they've done, the Grand Cru. They did a chocolate covered cherry one. I wonder if that is kind of like the Chocolate Elf they put out this year, but they've done some brewery only ones that sound good too as well. Anyway, it's a longer review. You're looking at probably 15, 60 minutes. It is what it is. I like to talk. It's the intro to the holiday beer reviews. Like I said, going to be wearing this beautiful sweater every single holiday themed beer review. I'm going to be doing the Grinch here. It will be on the table, the Santa hat. Let me put down the Grinch here, and then we'll hit the button just so you guys can hear what he says, right?
What a great Grinchy trick.
I'm going to need him to settle down. Like, rein it in, Grinch. Get it under control, buddy. Anyway, appreciate each and every one of you stopping by for another beer review. And if you've had this beer or any of the beers from the Tröegs Most Wonderful Beer of the Year variety pack, let me know what your favorite is. Let me know what you thought about this one. Would you do a 50-50 mix? If I was to do this, I think I would do 70-30, and I think I would do 70% the Mad Elf and 30 of this just to kind of smooth it out, a little bit less in ABV, but still keep the essence and like the strong character from the Mad Elf. I think a 50-50 blend's a little bit lacking to what I want. Still give it a 4.05 out of 5. Good beer, but I think it could do a little bit more. But that's just my opinion. And yeah, the Mad Dreams, pick it up if you see it. If you see a single of it, I was lucky enough to get a single of each one of them, so I'm happy about it. I picked it up at Brewed and Bottled, Loose in New York. Chris, awesome dude. Harry, you know what the deal, buddy. Rein it in, bring it in, settle down. You're up here. You should be down here. All right, shutting down this incredibly long review. It is what it is. To the next one. Cheers. Pros.